Hello. I
Hi.
believe the webcams are working. Hi. Welcome to our first stream of some game development. We're Fear of Corn. We're making a game called Interference. We're going to be streaming for the next couple hours to just kind of hang out and just kind of demonstrate our process, and as well as keep ourselves accountable a little bit. Just kind of wanted to try something out. I'm Jared. I am one half of the, administration or founder of Fear of Corn. Brad, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Brad. I'm the other half. I have been primarily focused on the art direction side of things, mostly taking some degree of ownership over object modeling, texture mapping, materials, UVs, graphic design for all the various custom textures we're going to be employing for our various objects in the booth. Hopefully as we get to work here in the stream, you'll see me working a lot in Blender. That's our 3D modeling program of choice, as well as some Photoshop, maybe if we're lucky, a little Substance, which is a very cool suite of software for custom materials and texture design, as well as some Unreal, of course. So
yeah, we should probably check sync one last time here before we completely suck things up. So let's just Brad, let's count off one last time and I'll
cool.
check. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5. And that's good. Cool. So I'll go ahead and share our screens here, and so we can just kind of check us out working on each of our individual screens. If you have any questions as we go, just hit us up, or if you're watching this later, leave a comment. We probably won't look at it because I'm terrible at checking our emails. But cool, our screens are live. Brad, what are you going to start working on?
I'm going to start things off in Blender. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to start with a little Photoshop. So this is actually a design that I worked on several months ago that we've sort of just been sitting on. We've sort of had a bit of a journey with deciding how we want to go about handling books in the booth. We initially thought we might want to have more book variations than we ultimately decided on. So our first attempt at this involved essentially packing a bunch of different variations on cover designs into a single texture map. And this resulted in very small, low resolution covers for the books. And we've sort of changed course since then, so we've kind of shuffled things up a bit, redesigned our entire process as far as the books go. And so this has been on hold for a long time, but we're kind of hoping to finally get it over the finish line and actually get this into a functional working material in the booth. You can see we have a GED prep textbook that's going to be in the booth. The guards, the security team at Barclay Institute is devoted to bettering themselves and advancing their own professional careers. So, we want to kind of communicate that with an object in the booth, and that's kind of what we're going to start off with on my end. So,
and I'm making donuts.
I don't know. I think it's equally important. We have to, communicate the balance between, working hard and also treating yourself. That's what we're all about. It's creating a well-balanced universe, Thanos-esque in that regard.
Yep. So we didn't make these meshes ourselves, but I'm working on tiling the textures, so I'm going to be working on that for a bit. If you're dropping in, leave some questions, comments, say hi. Otherwise, we're just probably going to sit here in awkward silence working on stuff for a while with the occasional joke or attempt a joke, because our humor is kind of dumb. Cool.
All right.
I feel like I'm acutely aware of everything that I'm saying.
Yeah, it's especially bad with a little bit of a delay here, so everything you say and do is just gonna pop up on the stream.
Yeah.
Moments later, and there's nothing you can do once it's been said. So.
I know. Well, that's it. That's our stream. Oh God, no.
Well, I've just made my first mistake of the stream due to the nerves. I was trying to save this as a TGA file, and I've reverted it. I've never used this option in Photoshop. I don't know what that is, and I cannot unrevert it. So
wait, what did you do? What do you mean revert?
I don't know. Yeah, this option right here under Save As, it's just revert. It's F12. I'm gonna Google that, see what happened because
I don't know. You deleted our game. Off to a great start. Let's do some UV tiling.
Okay, so revert just takes it back to where it was the last time it was saved. So I think we're okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, nothing lost. So
nothing
sweet.
gained either.
Nothing gained, nothing lost. Cool. Save as this time.
I can't believe you made this stupid mistake. It's really funny. Don't worry, no one saw, according to our viewer comment.
No one saw, no one will see. If you're watching this right now, please stop. Just kidding.
Are we?
All right.
Man, UV tiling textures is fun because it just looks really, really bad until it doesn't, and then it looks like a donut. So.
Cool. So anyone watching me and wondering where I'm at right now, basically what we have here, we have a diffuse map and a normal map. Diffuse map is all the color data for the material. The normal map includes essentially bump height information. So yeah, I have these two in Photoshop, and I'm just exporting them out to Targa files, which is what we use for all of our materials. And I'm going to pop these in the engine and kind of see what we're dealing with before I push anything and commit it. So hopefully it'll look pretty good. We're pretty late in this process, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. You can see here we already have one book that we've done, the joke book, which you may have seen on Twitter. If not, I will show that in a second.
Assuming you've seen anything at all. We can make endless jokes about our self-deprecating jokes about our view count, but I'd say we wouldn't, but I really can't. That kind of promise. Shout out to the one viewer in the chat. It's me. It's myself. It's always good to support yourself, right?
Yeah.
I already made a mistake too, just FYI. I should have made a material instance from our donuts, so if we need to increase the glossiness, then we can do it in one place. You don't want a non-glossy donut.
Nobody wants a non-glossy donut.
I mean, I'd probably eat it. There we go. How glossy is it? So just redoing all the work that I had just done.
Okay. that did not work.
Wait, what didn't work?
The UVs on book D does not seem to be mapped to the texture. So yeah, as you can see here, I was hoping. All right, so just as a point of comparison, this is the joke book I mentioned previously. You can see it kind of looks like a joke book. That's because the UV map on this mesh itself basically tells the object where to read data from the texture file, the texture maps, and where to project it on the mesh. This one was done correctly. You can see it's looking pretty good, and by contrast, this one is not. This could be.
Doesn't look so bad. I can't
yeah.
really tell though on the tiny little view screen I have.
Oh yeah, well the entire texture is pushed up. There's a huge gap of white space on the bottom.
Maybe it was just printed wrong.
Yeah, yeah, that's our philosophy. Yeah. Maybe it looks bad because it looks bad in real life.
Yeah, it's a horrible philosophy.
All right, so I'll be working on troubleshooting this, and yeah, first things first. There, I'm going to check the UV channel.
Looks like there's a couple viewers looking at things. Oh yeah, Indie Dev Dog retweeted us. So hey,
nice.
Hey, people watching, we don't know what we're doing, and we're having fun, right, Brad?
Oh yes, definitely.
This isn't super scary at all. I'm making donuts. Leave me alone.
All right, so yeah, you can see here this this is our UV map. It's lower than it is in Photoshop, hence the white space. So yeah, this map here that I had in Photoshop, I think that's an outdated one. Let me quickly get the new one in there and then adjust the positioning and re-export those textures, and it should all be good.
Hey, we have a comment or a question from Zebro. What's the game about? It's about donuts and math books, apparently. No, we're working on a game called Interference. It is a short narrative-driven kind of sci-fi horror experience where your choices matter. It's an experiment in kind of player autonomy where you're trying to help your friend escape from some incident that's happening at this facility that you're a guard at. I'm going to show the guard booth here so you can kind of take a look. You're trying to help them escape. You have all these sorts of options, branching narratives, as well as not helping them. Our kind of approach here is that no matter what you do has consequences in terms of the narrative and how that progresses. So we're kind of working on a bunch of environmental details today, some prop creation, as you saw with our donut and our math book. That's kind of it, I guess. Brad, do you have anything to add on my description there?
No, I think that pretty much sums things up. Yeah, it's sometimes kind of a difficult game to explain. Because I feel like, yeah, like Jared mentioned, there's a lot of horror, kind of survival horror elements. But one thing that's kind of interesting is, for the most part, your player character is not actually ever in danger. So, yeah, we're kind of hoping to explore some, interesting and unique kind of experiences with playing a game where you're hopefully scared on behalf of someone who's not your own player. So yeah, I think the environment and the kind of the room you're playing the game in is kind of an important aspect of that. So we're kind of investing a lot of time and energy in making it look and feel how we want.
I'm adjusting the shininess of a donut. This is game dev, folks. I keep having this nightmare where I look over at our chat and there's like thousands of viewers. That would scare me. people watching, we might go like kind of silent every once in a while, just as we're working on stuff. But if you do have questions, keep asking us. We're happy you're here. Also terrified that you're here, but mostly happy. All right. I want donuts now. Looks like... Oh, I was comparing the wrong material. That'll do it. Dang it. There you go. Yeah, ours definitely needs to be a little shinier than the source one. I'm used to working on 2 screens, so whenever I since the stream's taking up one side, and I want to make sure what I'm working on is, you know, being shown, it's kind of messing with my workflow a bit. Let's adjust that. That's looking pretty good.
Cool. And as you can see on my screen, problem solved. I was indeed working off a older version of the UV layout in Photoshop. So I just went into Blender, grabbed the correct one, exported it out again, brought it into Photoshop, realigned the art. Yeah, no harm, no foul. It was just an easy thing to nudge. And yeah, re-exported everything out, and now it's a little better aligned. So I could actually bring this into the level now.
Cool. I'm gonna switch over to lighting here in a little bit. But shininess is looking about the same. I'm happy with that. Let's make these donuts pick-upable. I don't think that's a word. Oops. I made a mistake. I made a duplicate. I need to make a child. I need to make a child. There we go. That's better. Throw the donut in there. You bet it's interactive. Interaction text. Should it be take bite of donut or eat donut? Probably eat donut for just...
Yeah, I think we want some consistency with eat butt.
Eat butt. Yes, you can eat butts in this game.
I'm demonstrating right now on my screen.
I just switched over to you. Can you eat another butt, Brad?
Oh, sure thing. Shouldn't have done that. That was not good for my health, as indicated by the damage indicator.
Yeah, eating the butts of used cigarettes is not healthy.
Cool.
Okay, so eat donut. What are the odds that the pickup direction is correct on this? That's not bad. Donut. Oh man, we need to adjust the collision on these. They don't quite roll like they should. I probably won't do that right now, but that's not actually that bad. Let's see how it compares to the original. Hey Brad, do you mind taking a look at my screen here and letting me know if you think the shininess on these donuts looks about the same? The scale is like, oh, that's why. I think they look pretty much the same.
Yeah, I could not really differentiate between them.
Gotcha. Some of the other ones might be easier to kind of determine once we add the frosted ones in. Dip it in my coffee. Perfect. It's a perfect fit. Oh no. Shit. I think our donuts are a little too stale. Zebro asks if there's a specular map for the frosting. There is a... we're controlling the glossiness through, well, it's roughness, technically not glossiness. So we're just using the default specular in Unreal itself. We don't typically adjust it too much. We tend to work mostly in roughness to adjust how shiny things are. I'm trying to find our master material here. There you go. So, yeah, I don't know how much of this makes sense, but there's our specular here. It's actually kind of being driven by the ambient occlusion map, but the donuts don't actually have an ambient occlusion map. We're kind of working with what we got when we purchased this asset, and just making it fit kind of within our material structure here. I can show you the actual maps themselves if I go over to donuts. So we got our base color, normal, and here's our roughness. So this is driving the shininess. We put the textures in quads just to save texture space. We didn't need a million different textures for each version of the donut, so some of these have bytes taken out of them, but it's just these three textures that are actually doing the work. Switch back to the everything camera. What are you working on, Brad?
Yeah, so the textbook is looking good. UVs are fixed. I think we'll probably want to do a little more in-depth review on that, but just for the sake of kind of keeping things moving along, I think we'll set this aside for now. Because it's looking good. I'll pull it up one more time. We might want to do some very small nitpicky things, readjust the design a little bit. Now that I'm seeing on the book, this is probably a little too close to the edge. Similarly on the spine here. So yeah, we'll want to do some very small tweaks, but that might be something that we go back and forth with a little bit. I don't want to spend much more time on this. I think we've kind of demonstrated our approach to book cover material design here. So I think I'm going to move on shortly to working on the light mesh in Blender. I'll pull that up real quick here. So yeah, Jared mentioned not too long ago eventually wanting to switch to doing some lighting work in the booth. That's something we have kind of lined up for this stream. As you can see, I'll pull it up in Unreal. We have a temporary placeholder, or actually it's not there right now. We have this temporary lamp though, that we kind of put to show shine some light on the all-important facility map, which is a key component of the gameplay.
I don't have that. I deleted it from mine. Wow.
Yeah. So I still have it because I'm living in the past. But yeah, so basically what we want to do is we want to replace this. Nobody wants to, this lamp on a box, it just doesn't really look too good. We want to replace it with a light essentially that's going to run across the top of the bulletin board, shining the light directly down onto the contents of the board without this big intrusive mesh in the way. So we have some temporary assets in the engine ready to go that Jared's going to be working on for some lighting stuff at some point.
I just synced them. I just pulled them into the map.
Awesome. And so while he's working on that, I'm going to be working on just adding some more little details to the mesh itself. Because as you can see, it's very simple. Placeholder. We have a bulb. We have a little exterior piece the bulb is plugged into. But we kind of want to finish the mesh up a little bit and do the UV mapping and eventually hopefully get this into Substance to start working on some materials for it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to kind of switch gears to now.
We lost a couple viewers, Brad.
Uh-oh, that's my fault. I droned on too long about lights.
The pressure's off. I was, man. I did some streaming of just some games that I was interested in towards the beginning of the year, and I think we've had more viewers in the last 20 minutes than I ever had total when I was doing streaming of the games I was playing. So
that's awesome.
That's cool, but also terrifying. Is the bulb mesh the same pivot as the housing? If I make the bulb a child of the housing, can I just set it to 0, 0?
Unfortunately, no, I did not center both pivots. I just left them relative to each other. So
they're relative to each other. So yes.
Yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I'd centered both pivots, which I have not yet.
Gotcha. I think I have it. Oops. Need to flip it around. Should the beveled side be in front, I imagine?
Yes, it is backwards right now, which is, again, something I will fix.
Damn it, Brett. Libero says it's because not a lot stream Unreal Engine 4, so you're not on page 10,002 at the bottom. What page are we on? we're like number one stream right now for Unreal Engine 4. I'd kind of die a little bit. There is only one page. Love Waves says hello. Hi, Love Waves. How are you doing today? I lost track what I'm trying to do. Yeah, apparently there's only 5 people streaming Unreal Engine 4, so yikes.
Cool.
So that's it. See you later. I'm tearing up a little bit, just because honestly I'm kind of nervous. This is our first time doing it. Thanks, Zebro. Loveways, I'm doing fine. Like I said, I'm a little nervous. Doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is new. It's exciting, but not used to working and having everything streamed.
I like to make mistakes in the privacy of my own, I guess, privacy. So I feel like I'm taking a test, but I'm taking the test in front of everyone who sees the answers I'm circling. Like there's my answer sheets being projected to everybody.
Cool. So as you can see on my screen, I briefly pulled up our Trello. This is a reference photo we've been kind of using for this bar light that I referenced. So I'm trying to just decide right now what I want to actually model versus what I want to hold off for till the material work. So I think I'm going to get a little knob on the side here. So that's what I'm going to start working on.
Also, folks in the chat, if our audio sync is off a little bit, Brad and I are in two different geographical locations, so we had to do some interesting things to get this to work correctly. So if things aren't quite lined up, I'm not sure if things will kind of come out of sync here at all. I'm hoping not, but I don't know how much internet this uses. Probably a lot. Zeburo, Skype and screen share. Actually, we set up our own streaming server through AWS. So Brad and I are both privately streaming to that server and then using those feeds in Streamlabs to put everything together. The Skype stuff we tried with, I think we did Google Hangouts, but the screens are themselves like Brad was sharing his desktop and it was like 2 frames per second. So this is, I think, working a little bit better. It just, every time I go into Amazon Web Services, I'm kind of not entirely sure what I'm doing. So it's a little scary. Alright, I've been trying to parent these objects for like 10 minutes here and I just keep losing track of what I'm trying to do. There we go. Okay. Oops. I was close. I was off by 1.5 centimeters. I eyeballed it. Uh-oh. Brad, are you still there? Thanks, Zeburo. I know Brad and I's chat has kind of disconnected. Hold on. Trying to fix it so I can hear Brad here. I'm just trying to, Brad and I, our chat kind of went away, so I'm just trying to fix that. Let's open up Discord again. Get this working. Of course, technology fails as soon as you start talking about it. Oh, Zebro saying, I guess Brad can't hear me, but yeah, it does seem like Discord's having some trouble. Yeah, I'm getting an error from Discord. Discord is having issues.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Just trying to get our communication back so Brad and I can hear each other. We've used too much internet. Hey Nacho, how you doing? We're trying to get our audio synced back to each other again. I guess Discord's having some issues. I hope we didn't break it. That'd be crazy. Too much power. Let's just switch to our webcams for a moment. Yeah, there seems to be some Discord problems. Hey, Brad.
Hey, we're back.
Brad.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
And we're back. I don't think our feeds went down on Twitch, which was good. I think we were just having some issues communicating with each other without the Twitch delay. So we're back. I'm still trying to parent this stupid light. There you go. I think, as I was saying, I had eyeballed it. I was off by 1.5 centimeters. I used to work at a trophy shop, and you'd have to align the metal plate onto the wooden plaques themselves, like manually. So I'm good at eyeballing that sort of stuff. But how you doing today, Nacho? Zebro asks if our projects are synced with the Dropbox kind of thing. So we're working with source control Perforce or P4, similar to our kind of streaming server. We set up another remote server up on Amazon Web Services that both Brad and I can connect to make sure the stuff that we're working on is in sync with each other. You can lock files so you're not accidentally overwriting each other's work and that type of thing. And it's holding for now. We were having issues running the stream and the VPN at the same time, so seems like we're okay for now.
Yeah, knock on wood, that won't be an issue later. But, yeah, so all of our game assets are on that private server. And we also use Google Drive for just general document management.
Right, like for the website and social media and stuff.
Yeah, anything we don't want bundled and eventually shipped with the game is gonna kind of live there. So,
Nacho asks how dev is going. It's going all right. I feel like I'm making probably a lot slower progress than I normally do, just since I'm extremely self-conscious about everything I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
But this is good. I'm glad everyone's here, who is here, and I'm only like kind of terrified.
Yeah, I think like Jared hinted at, today in particular, dev is little extra exciting, but overall, big picture, things are going really well. I think we're making some good progress, and yeah, it's exciting, kind of seeing it come together bit by bit each week. It's it's not your it's not a totally traditional game where it's like, oh, you can. It's a project that's a little difficult to conceptualize in terms of percentage completed. So anytime we're able to make some tangible progress, it's always a good thing for us in terms of keeping us engaged and excited for a project of this duration, which we've been working on for like 1.5 years now. So
yeah. We're working on a lot of environment stuff, so it's not just us working on things primarily. We have a small team of people. Brad and I are the only two people really doing much in terms of engine work, but we have our sound designer. She's just kind of getting started, so we're excited to start putting some more stuff in with sound. our writer who has the most difficult task of all, is slowly getting things together, all of our narrative flow charts and all that sort of stuff. And then we have a narrative designer kind of helping put all the pieces together, and she's in Japan right now, so it's just kind of me and Brad at the moment working on stuff. All of us are kind of working on this in our spare time. Brad and I both work full-time jobs. Everyone else is doing like freelance stuff, and Teddy, who's our writer, is doing his like master's in like education or whatever. So he's also extremely busy outside of things like the rest of us. So yeah, part of the reason we wanted to do this stream was to kind of set aside a chunk of time to really just for Brad and I to work on something at the exact same time. We're, like I mentioned earlier, we're both in different states, so the time difference isn't a lot. It's only an hour difference, but it's enough where like we kind of both aren't getting started around the same time each night after work, and so we wanted to make sure we were kind of able to try this out.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
Oh yeah.
Oops. I'm making mistakes. All of these interaction circle or spheres. Look at this mess. Look at how many things you can interact with. All of these red things are interaction areas. We just keep adding more. It's working a little bit. It's turnips. I need to reset that rotation. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. So before we didn't really have a light going on here. We just kind of we pointed our desk lamp at this for the demo that Hour a Day did a stream of our demo or was it last week?
Yeah, it was on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving, and so the light that we had on there was only temporary because we hadn't made this object yet. So now we're getting that together, and I find lighting is kind of one of the hardest things to really get right, or to look right. And that might just be kind of my inexperience with it in Engine. Like I studied lighting and cinematography in college. Like that's something I know how to do. But when you put it in a virtual space, it gets kind of, when you have unlimited options in terms of what you can and can't do, it's a lot. Because in real life you can't be like, screw it, let's have 2 suns, but now you can just be like, let's have 6, and then just throw it in there, and then it's, I mean, obviously gonna be blindingly bright, but you can do it. Let's see how that looks. Oh man. One of the things we're gonna have issues with on this light, Brad, is just obnoxious shadows on these push pins.
Oh.
I might have to do some angling to make it a little less terrible. Actually, I could just turn cast shadows off. That might be kind of weird though. Yeah, that looks weird on like the shelving underneath. But it looks pretty good on the actual bulletin board.
Yeah, that is looking cool.
Really bringing out the texture. I like how I picked one of the things I'm like most insecure about doing from the thing that I do in front of people. Oops. There you go. I could turn. That's not bad. I think with this we could probably get away with a stationary light. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an emissive material to plug into the actual bulb itself for right now. That's exactly right, Zero. It's nerve-wracking. Everyone can see all of my mistakes. Like the fact that I wanted a vector parameter and I put a scalar parameter into my material editor. That's alright. I wanted to have one anyway. I'm gonna do pure white. There we go. Emissive strength. Let's see. Let's start with 100. That might be way too much. I just kind of want to see what it looks like. It's very bright, but yeah. Right now we don't have the ends separated, so it's just the whole thing's emissive. Which is kind of fun. Looks a little weird, but I think I don't really need much else to kind of work on this. Eventually you'll be able to go up to this and kind of turn it on and off and stuff, but I probably won't get to that during this stream. I'm just kind of refamiliarizing myself with a lot of the workflow stuff of the lighting system. It's not working like I want it to. Let's just do it. I also usually like talk to myself, but I'm usually mumbling to myself as I work, so it's also kind of weird to... Okay. It's not terrible. I'm gonna build that to see what it looks like. Stretching. Well, while I build lighting, Brad, I'm gonna switch over to see what you're doing.
Cool. Yeah, so I am back in Blender here. Just working on a little kind of box thing for the side of this light. Kind of want to have a little knob on the side. One thing we had discussed at one point is making this one of those fun little pull string lights where, instead of just a knob that goes back and forth. Because that is one thing we try to do with as much as possible when you're doing these interactable elements in the game is, doing little animations to indicate what you're interacting with beyond just having the light bulb go on and off. So yeah, we have a few things in the booth that are like operated via switches. We don't have anything that's, a pull string. So that's something we might want to incorporate eventually. So I'm sort of thinking right now we would have this little knob potentially be something that's a brightness adjuster. Not something we would probably utilize in game, but just in terms of what it would be in real life. And out of this same little power box here, there would be a little string coming down. So first things first, I'm just getting this in here and trying to see if there's any other major, significant geometry we're going to want. Because, yeah, like I was saying before, a lot of the smaller detailing we're able to do with materials and normal maps. And that's great for a number of reasons. Obviously, it simplifies the geometry. It's much better optimized. And it gives us a little more control to tweak things and get it just how we like it without having to model it and then bring it in and try to put the materials on there and realize it doesn't look quite how we want and then have to go back to remodel things. That's generally a workflow that we don't like to do for obvious reasons, because changing the geometry of a mesh once the materials are done opens the door to a lot of potential issues. So we like to kind of get the geometry kind of locked in place as early as possible and then do all of our material work from there. So yeah, the less stuff we could commit to early on, the better. And, because the material work and the, adding the little detailing elements and substance is one of the last things we're going to be doing, that's much better for what we're trying to accomplish. So so basically what I'm doing right now is just trying to think of anything that we definitely need in terms of geometry that we cannot add. Sorry. Excuse me. That we can't add as part of the material. So
I'm gonna have to mute you, Brad.
I know. Can't even talk correctly on this stream.
No. I built lighting at production quality, which was a mistake. But I'm in it at this point. It's 17% done, so I'm just going to let it run. Zebro says, I'm so happy that I'm a cheapskate and learned Blender because it's free. Nothing wrong with free software. Man, Blender is incredible. I agree. It is mind-blowing stuff. Brad has a lot more kind of 3D modeling experience than I do. We were working with the 2.79B, I think it was, for the longest time with Blender, and 2.8 rolled around, and now I feel like I'm able to actually do stuff in it. As I sit here not doing anything in it. But I plan on taking a course to kind of get more familiar with it. I just haven't found the time to start it yet.
Yeah, 2.8 is great. I actually, because when I was in college, I took a couple 3D animation classes using Maya, and I had a student license with Maya, and obviously Maya's great. I've, was kind of learned all the keyboard commands and everything. I kind of got comfortable with it, and actually that student license for Autodesk does kind of extend for 3 years. So I had it a little bit post-graduation too, and yeah, for a while I just stuck with it. It was what I was comfortable with, and because Blender had always been sort of it's really impressive, it's powerful, but the user interface was never quite as nice as Autodesk's was. But obviously, yeah, now that I no longer get that student, the free student version, and because also the student version does not allow you to do things for commercial use, we obviously made the switch to Blender for this project, and this user interface upgrade has been amazing. I honestly don't even miss Maya at all nowadays. It's kind of a distant memory at one point. I used to have all the Maya key bindings transferred over to Blender, and I've switched off of that now. And yeah, it's honestly, it's just as good. I mean, I'm not like a super user. I don't really, do this professionally, and I'm not working on a huge, massive, multi-million-dollar project. So I'm sure there are little benefits here and there that, Blender may be missing out on, but for what we're doing.
Sorry, I just kind of burped a little bit. I forgot that my mic is on.
But no, yeah, for what we're doing, Blender's been amazing, and I really can't say enough great things about it. So
yeah, have you used Eevee at all, Brad? Zebro says Eevee is just crazy.
I actually haven't. Eevee is the rendering functionality in Blender, right? I know because
yes,
we obviously do all of our. We use Blender for modeling and do all of our rendering in Unreal. Obviously, that's kind of our workflow.
No, Eevee's a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that's true. I was. And Eevee is crazy. The fact that it can evolve into so many different things. But no, in terms of the rendering, I have not used it personally. I've never really taken advantage of Blender's. Actually, I haven't really done much Blender for rendering, animation, really anything outside of modeling. So I'm curious. I would like to check it out.
This thing is awful. Look at this iPhone Eevee cable bite. Oh, man. Good old Eevee. Alright, back to... This is what I have to do when I'm building lighting. 75%. We're almost there. It's just gonna all of a sudden it'll be done, and it's gonna go from looking like crap to looking like even more crap. Can't wait. I don't know if Nacho is still here, but looks like they are. I don't really have any specific reason to know if Nacho's here or not. Nacho is one of the people I've met through the Indie Dev World Order Discord channel. That's kind of been a nice, really nice, supportive community with especially small devs like us. Working on Nacho. You said you're working on some background dev stuff. And Zebra, what are you working on as well? I'm curious. And yes, posting links is allowed. Sure, don't post. I don't know, porn or anything, but I trust you. Strangers I've only met on the internet. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, that wall texture is really low quality. Really brings out the compression artifacts in our normal map. Zebra sent us a video of Eevee, not the Pokemon, I don't think, the Hydra sculpting.
Nice.
Oh wow. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, sculpting is another thing I have not done with Blender much. I'd be interested in. Yeah, that looks pretty incredible.
That's real time?
Yeah, I did very little bit with Autodesk's Mudbox back when I had the license for it, and very basic stuff. I never got anywhere near to the level of this.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they dropped Blender 2.8 and they're like, there's video editing and compositing and this sculpting and rendering, it's like, what can't it do? Isn't there some game engine ability too?
Yeah, Blender's actually had some game engine capabilities for a while since I think it was very rudimentary for a while. But I remember back when I was like in high school, first getting into this like 3D modeling, I played with Blender a little bit, and I remember seeing. I never really messed with it, but I saw that and was very impressed.
So here's what I got going with the lighting, Brad. Not spectacular. You can really see. I don't know if you were going to be able to see kind of the compression on the wall there, but I might have to send you a screenshot.
Yeah, I am watching on Twitch, but there's obviously a bit of a delay. So
yeah,
I do.
Everything else like looks okay. I would maybe dial down the normal on the bulletin board a little bit. It's a little bit intense.
Yeah, it does look really cool though. I like the effect of it, the way it's like hitting the wall, the angle and everything. So
yeah. Once we kind of separate out the pieces, I might have to fake a little bit of the global illumination a little bit though above it, just since it's so dark up there. Luckily we have ambient lights that we can just throw in. Let's see, it doesn't need to be much. I don't know why the light bulb, is it just because it's next to me that it's like super gigantic? Okay, pull that out in front, and very small intensity. Looking a little better. There's some more definition of the actual lighting itself. Not bad, and that gives us room to put our box of donuts there. I was thinking to be by the door.
Yeah.
Like I think we moved those shelves before for the demo lighting, but I do think that it's actually better there than underneath the birth ball hoop.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, I don't love the dynamic shadows on the push pins. You know, we could just disable shadowing on the push pins itself.
That's true. Yeah, they're a little distracting from what I can see.
Yeah, I don't really have a preference. I mean, we're going to have to do kind of a lighting pass later anyway. Like, this is all just temporary. It's really hard because we have to account for, you know, dark lighting conditions as well as all the lights are on, as well as time of day changes.
Yeah.
That's all right. Brad, I'm gonna step out for a second. I'll be right back. Cool. I'm just gonna switch over to your screen for a bit.
Okay.
So don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah, so I'm still in Blender, working on the string portion that I had discussed before. Just gonna try to do as simple as possible with the geometry. Like I said, we'll add some material to this cylinder here to make it actually look more like a string. But this will help us keep the mesh itself a bit optimized. So yeah, just trying to do as much as we can with as few pieces as possible. One thing I am trying to keep in mind though is that because this string is going to be eventually what we use to turn the light on and off, we're probably going to want an animation for it. So this string piece is going to have to move independently of this little base piece, which is the reason I have basically done that as two different meshes. But yeah, so we're just trying to kind of get this looking pretty good. And obviously nothing's very precise quite yet, just trying to get the basic pieces in place.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
I also realized I forgot to start the recording.
Oh.
I'll just download it from Twitch.
Yeah.
Later. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. But yeah, I think this lighting will look okay once we kind of get the material set up and stuff. I kind of want to make it even maybe less bright, just as dingy. It's a little bit too clean. The map has to be readable though. I like that. Yeah, that's not too bad. I like how I always say, "Oh, that's not that bad." I'm just like super, just like nothing's ever
Yeah,
good.
you can't be too overly confident with yourself.
Let's use color temperature. I lied. Let's not use color temperature. I'm gonna give it a kind of a greenish hue. Or like, I just want it to be like very, very slightly fluorescent. Is fluorescent more yellow or is it more green?
I think fluorescent is greenish.
Okay. Yeah. You know what I could do with all these red circles is I could go into the blueprint and hide an editor. But I'm not going to.
Alright, well, I've once again managed to do something in a program on this stream that I've never managed to do before. And that is making it so that none of the geometry is highlighting when I go into edit mode. I accidentally hit some key on my keyboard, and now I clearly have I have faces selected, and objects selected, but there's no highlight happening. So,
hey, Hour a Day is hosting us right now.
Really?
Hey, Hour a Day, how are you doing? That is us. We are Fear of Corn. Not to be confused with Ear of Corn, which is the pun that we are making with our name.
Yeah, we're doing really well. Thank you for hosting us. This is awesome. Yeah, we've just been kind of working our way through a few different things we had lined up. And yeah, I'm experiencing all of the nerve-wracking realities of streaming and working with a bunch of people watching it.
That crossword and beef ball. We haven't added the counter yet. We're going to. That was a good idea off your stream. I just want to demonstrate the possible, or how possible it is to get the basket in there. So it is possible. I just also am really bad at it. I used to have the strategy down.
Yeah, we should probably be on for another couple hours. We're maybe at least one more hour, maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really appreciate you stopping in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think our plan was to kind of mimic as if we were working on this kind of like a 9-to-5 type thing, what that would be like, because that is not our real job. So we thought that it would be cool to try to go from probably not all the way until 5. That would be like 2 hours and 45 more minutes. So probably, yeah, another hour or so we'll probably be live for. All
right.
I don't know.
And actually, that is a good reminder for me, though. I think because I'm experiencing some weird Blender issues, I don't want to spend too much time debugging that live. I'm going to switch gears anyway, because I was hoping to do this towards the last hour or so for something that's going to be pretty exciting. I'm excited to show this off. Yeah, so some of you may have seen, if you watched the stream from Hour a Day, then you definitely did see. I'll actually pop it up in the menu.
Here, I switched back to the webcam so we can do a reveal.
Oh, nice.
I don't know exactly what you're actually gonna work.
Yeah,
on.
so
Our Day says, let me hop off of Twitch and back over to Twitter and shout it out.
Ooh, awesome. Yeah.
More viewers.
Yeah, more viewers.
No.
Oh, cool. But yeah, so I was kind of saying Buns and Biceps is one of the. Let's open it up in the engine. Yeah, this magazine here. We really, we have an 80s setting. We really try to lean heavily into and take great inspiration from the aesthetics of the 80s. As you can see here, the 80s fitness magazine is something we're quite proud of. And another thing that we have lined up is, as you know, we have a TV here with a VHS player. So we need to have some VHS tapes laying around. We want to do an 80s movie, an 80s action movie VHS sleeve. Obviously, there's a lot of inspiration to draw from, things like Rambo, Terminator, the classic 80s beefy gun-toting action hero genre of cinema. So something we're going to start working on today is the initial design for an 80s VHS sleeve, completely original. So Yeah, I'm gonna close
I
out
haven't
here.
seen any of the source materials for
Yeah,
this.
so
Brad, you said you pulled some,
yeah,
right?
last night in preparation for this stream, I did do a little bit of searching for some stock photos, trying to find the subject of our 80s movie. And yeah, so I'm going to my desktop is cool. So I have everything here, and I found this stock photo. Yeah, so we've got it. This our subject, our hero. We have an explosion and we have a jungle to place him in. So we have some really cool elements to work with, and we're gonna be doing some Photoshop here, getting this guy kind of situated and and
I want that to be my next photo.
Yeah, this guy has a whole series.
We need to come up with some sort of title for our action movie.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the title might come organically from the stream. If not that, then shortly after, once we have some, visual to kind of inspire us. So anyone in the chat, please do feel free to throw some suggestions in. We want to make this as interactive as possible.
Our standards aren't super high. Speaking of which, Nacho asked where are the marshmallows. Let me switch over to my screen here. They are in this drawer. Here they are. Let me stand under the light so you can see them better. There you go. Got the marshmallows. Got a couple loose cigarettes in here too, or there should have been. I think I have them over here. We put them on the table for testing, but you can light them. There we go. Lit cigarette. Throw that in the ashtray. Boink. And here's something else in the drawer that. Uh-oh. The narrative started. Gotta cancel that out. What just happened to that floppy disk that I just threw? Where did I throw it? There it is. This is something that we're particularly proud of, but you thought the word search was cool. There's a whole other game inside this game. It's hidden in there. Thank you, Hour a Day. That's great. Ao Punky, how you doing? What type of game is this? That's kind of a complicated question, but the simple answer is it's a narrative focused game. You're trying to help your friend escape from some incident that happened at a top secret research facility that you're a guard at. So you're communicating with them and the danger that is far away from you. You're not actually in danger, but you have autonomy over how you communicate with them. You can try to help them. You can just be a jerk. You don't even have to engage with the narrative. It'll happen with consequences, with your actions or without. So around the booth, there's just a ton of stuff that we've added. There's a word search that proved pretty popular with Our Day's stream last week. Because of that, I think we're going to add a couple more word search puzzles. There's obviously the 8-bit game that I just showed you on the computer. There's Burf Ball. There's just all sorts of stuff that's it's kind of up to the player how they want to play the game. And we want to make sure that the things that are not part of the narrative are also fun and engaging, because that is kind of one of the philosophies we're working with this game. Yes, yeah, the choices definitely decide the fate. Nacho 1 has a movie name idea. Maximum Danger. I don't. That's really good. I kind of like the idea of it being a sequel, Maximum Danger 2. And then we could have room for some subtitle. Also, I like that Maximum Danger 2 indicates that they hadn't quite reached the maximum amount of danger.
Yeah, they overshot their mark at the first one.
Yeah.
You had to raise the bar somehow.
Maximum Danger 2 Reckoning. Reckoning's a good word. Maximum Danger. Does that mean the guy's name is Max Danger? That sounds familiar. Is that a thing? Ouch.
Let's see.
Maximilian Danger. Max Payne. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Maximilian. What if he's like some like rich vigilante type? Maximilian. Persificus. Danger Field. Maximilian Persificus Dangerfield is in maximum danger. Perfect. Maximilian is a fighting game player. Is he? Maximilian. Oh, got my some Blender stuff up. Maximilian fighting. Maximilian Dude. He's the biggest fighting game channel on YouTube. Huh. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you could link Discord up with Streamlabs streams. I don't know why I would know that. I guess this is like my one of my first times streaming. Ultimate Danger. Yeah, I like Danger is, I think, has to be part of the name of the
Definitely
of the movie. Yeah, Discord is down now. We were using that earlier so Brad and I could talk to each other without the stream delay, and it was all of a sudden it just kind of stopped working. Maybe we crashed it. I don't know. I doubt it. But scrolling back up in the chat, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the game that you didn't find on your stream. We were all slacking each other as we were watching it. Like, we were trying to decide whether or not we wanted to tell you to go do this or do that. We decided against it because we wanted to kind of see how people explored the space. There's a lot, and there's a lot that wasn't even in the demo that we took out. It's a stupid amount of stuff. An unreasonable amount of stuff, I would say. I haven't gotten the microwave working yet. That's on the list. But all right. So I haven't actually been working on anything. I'm kind of liking the tint of this light so far, Brad.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're gonna work on the push pin shadow stuff. We'll get that fixed later, but I think I'm gonna maybe move on to something else for now.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we've got some really good progress there.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I want to work on? Did you purchase those glasses?
Yes, I did. Actually, that's a good reminder.
Have you done anything?
I haven't. No, I literally purchased them from my iPad when I was away from my computer, so I have not even downloaded the FBX yet. I could send them to you real quick now if you'd like.
Box of coffee filters that I can do.
Yeah, let's do that now. I don't want to deal with potential issues with that. I have not checked out the FBX yet to make sure it's ready to use. So I think the filter is
gonna
the way to go.
hop into Blender here. Let's nuke the birth ball. Yes, I'd love to be able to. So we're gonna have the microwave recognize what objects are placed in it. I don't know what that means in terms of like melting things, but I bet if you put a foam ball into a microwave, it would not go so
I think it would
well.
definitely catch on fire.
I mean, there's only one way to find out. Live on the Fear of Corn Twitch channel. Hide an egg in the level and make them explode. That would be an Easter egg. Yes, it would be. That would be fun. If you microwave something for too long, it just like explodes. That reminds me when I was in like middle or high school. I forget which one. Back in the good old days, we would put marshmallow peeps in the microwave, and those things they expand so large until they just kind of finally pop. Reminds me of that. Also, grapes. Those things, do not put up a sliced grape in the microwave because crazy shit happens that I'm not sure why. So I'm in Blender, which is a scary place for me to be. Working on a box of coffee filters. So I gotta find the dimensions of a box of coffee filters. What do you think about this one, Brad?
Yeah.
At least for sizing.
Yeah, waiting on the stream delay.
Number 4. Are there different types of bring home the right size cone filter? I didn't know there were different kinds.
Oh yeah, I think that is a good reference. I like it.
All right, so I'm gonna go to. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to Target and buy this. No, luckily. Well, it only gives me 2 of the dimensions. Melita Natural. Let's find a. Amazon is pretty good at giving you the actual dimensions to things. Let's see. Ayo Punky, I just started learning Blender myself. Yes, so I'm in the process of learning Blender too. Brad's kind of the Blender expert between the two of us. I'm really good at making boxes because I can plug in three dimensions and it's done. And then I make Brad UV map it because I don't want to learn how to do that. 2.28 inches. So yeah, this is my secret. I find what I want to make on Amazon. I look at the product dimensions, and then I make that happen. Watch, this is gonna be super mind-blowing. Oh man, look at this cube. I really appreciate in Blender you can just put in inches instead of centimeters, and it'll automatically convert. There. Done. I'm done.
You know, Jared, I'm going to jump in and say, as the Blender expert, I did not know that Blender did the conversion automatically, and I had been converting them in Google before plugging them in. So I really appreciate you bringing that up just now, because that'll save me a lot of headaches and conversion mistakes that have plagued me in the past. So
you can even say that I converted this. It's 13 point. Yes, K kernel. It does. It auto converts it. So it's kind of. Let me switch to my screen here. Hopefully you can see in this dimensions thing. So we work in centimeters because that's what Unreal works in, but the product dimensions are in inches. So I just type in 5.2 inches. And it converts it to 13.2 centimeters. And I'm assuming it does the conversions correctly, because that'd be really cruel if it didn't. But you can even divide by other units. So now I have 13.208 centimeters divide by like 2 inches, which Well, maybe that didn't work correctly, but yes, it'll convert the base units for sure. But yeah, you can also change it. I never remember which tab it's in. This one. We always just set it to centimeters, so we know how it's going to translate into engine. Yeah, I'm glad it's a close conversion and not wildly off. If you actually click into 13.2, it does say 13.208, so it's rounding in the display field for whatever reason. Brad, is there anything else I need to do to make this box?
For the box, no, I think all of the detailing will be done with Substance. So.
Wait a minute. This is showing me something else. Oh no, 8 inches. That's right. You're very welcome for the info. It's the only only thing I know about Blender.
I feel like everyone knows something about something that other people don't know, even if they don't know that they're the only one that knows it.
Yeah. I feel like anyone that joins the stream right now is gonna look at what's happening and like there's just like the most generic box on my screen, and then the craziest shit happening on yours. I haven't actually. This is kind of informative for me to see kind of your process.
Yeah. So for anyone, I'm trying to get as precise as possible. For cutting out the stock photo here. You can just do lasso, magnetic lasso, various things like that, but I like using the pen tool just because you could really wrap the pixels you want. And then once I close this loop, it'll convert to a path. So yeah, this has kind of always been my go-to method when I need to be precise. Other times, if I'm not as precise, I'll just freehand lasso it, but we want to give all the TLC we can for this art.
Cool. I gotta find an 80s coffee filter. The research I do into vintage or time appropriate things is just me putting 80s before it in Google Images and hoping something shows up. I don't think people probably kept or took pictures of coffee filter boxes in the 80s, so yeah. I mean, this design seems pretty timeless. If I just kind of like use that as the basis for it, Brad,
I think yeah.
What was our branding for it?
Oh yeah, you had.
Oh, no filter coffee filters. Coffee so bleeping good. God, that's dumb.
That is. I like it.
But it's ours.
Exactly. We actually we have a little bit of a callback to back several years ago when we started on our very first game. It was like a similar type of survival horror thing that was set in a farmhouse, and we were trying to come up with things to populate the pantry of this farmhouse, and we came up with a simple design for a can of peaches. But in all of our beautiful creativity, the only modification we made to make it unique to our game world was the
Wait, hold on, Brad. Hold on. Let me
let me
do the reveal. Is it just called Peaches?
I think so.
Yes, can of peaches. PSD. All right, let me download it and I'll open it up in Photoshop. Honestly, this is a pretty good label. We should use this. Canned peaches. There it goes. I don't have those fonts anymore. Marges, peaches. Yummy, yummy is. Yes, we thought this was something appropriate to put into our survival horror game. We try to have fun. All of our brand names are always a treat to come up with. Sometimes they just come to you. Sometimes it's a mysterious process. I feel like we're out of practice a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just checking in on the stream itself to make sure everything's sounding good. It is. Yes, we can't wait for you to play the whole game too. We can't wait to be done with this game. That sounds like I don't enjoy working on it. That's not true. Yeah, this has been a process, that's for sure. A lot of learning as we go type stuff. But it's coming together. We're excited to show where the narrative goes, especially. It's I don't know. I'm pretty proud of it, and that's not something I say lightly. I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about what we're coming up with. I'm more excited to make these coffee filters.
Yeah, I think this whole project was just in service of the opportunity to design a box of coffee filters. So we're finally realizing the ultimate goal here.
Now you can watch me struggle in another program I don't know super well. Illustrator. So yeah, when I want to kind of just reference another brand, I just tend to copy in all of the sides of the images from Amazon. We're not sponsored by Melita Cone coffee filters. But they give you all the sides, which is great, because then I can just both use them for scale and kind of visual reference for design. I think this is the top. Man, there's a lot of words on this coffee filter.
Really?
You know what? Yeah, I kind of want to design this one from scratch. This one is a lot of like small text. There's a whole story on that.
That seems like, unnecessary for a coffee filter.
Look at
brand.
this. It was. I'm trying to zoom in on it. It was 1908 when a German housewife, Melita Bentz, made coffee history. Tired of the bitterness and troublesome grounds in her daily brew, Melita poked holes in the bottom of a brass cup and lined it with a sheet of her son's blotting paper. See, we don't even need to come up with like absurd fun stuff. We could just copy and paste the copy from the back of the Melita box. Oh, good. I'm glad audio sounds good. You missed it earlier, Hour, but the setup we have going for this is kind of stupid to make work. Brad and I are in two different locations, so we had to set up our own private streaming server So Brad and I are streaming directly to that, and then we're using those streams as media sources inside Streamlabs to keep them in sync with each other. It was one of those things that I just kind of followed a few tutorials online that I didn't really know what I was doing, and it worked, so we're not questioning it. But yeah, we'll make stuff in the game based off of real stuff. More so just for the correct proportions. But sometimes making a direct reference to a brand is unavoidable, like in the case of Burf, which is maybe our least like creative creative brand that we've come up with. But it's one of my favorites still. What's cool about Illustrator too is you can also use real life dimensions to, whoops, not pixels, to create references. So rather than pixels, use inches and it converts it to pixels. Like, I'm pretty sure this is standard on all programs at this point, so you should try it in all your favorite.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? You might as well try. I should have tried a long time ago.
Yeah. If you, at first, you don't succeed, create a feature request. Yeah, super high-tech stream. I don't want to see what the server costs will end up being after it. 1 hour coffee, super high caffeine. Like 5 hour energy except 1 hour coffee. I like that. This is so I'm making the box for the coffee filters themselves. The coffee brand that we came up with is another.
This is maybe our least creative.
I thought Burf was uncreative. Folders. Organize your mind. There's really nothing else on here that's worth looking at. What if the coffee filters were like super thick rather than no filter coffee filters? Just like super absorbent. Like you don't want them to be absorbent at all. I have no direction in life. Okay, it's dimensions for the side. So I'm just creating the dimensions that I made in Blender directly in this other program I'm using, Illustrator. That's what it's called. Oops, it should be 5.2 inches. Perfect. So then I can use this as kind of a blueprint for the actual design, which is not the thing I'm best at. Brad's the best at coming up with this sort of stuff, so watching me struggle through this is embarrassing for us all. Gotta take my glasses off. Ugh. My headphones are squeezing the sides of my glasses. That hurts. Okay. Let's see. So I like that kind of arc that's happening at the top there. I'm going to make these light blue so I can kind of treat them as guides. I don't know if you can see my dogs in the background. A bottle of laxatives called Hour Power. Fast relief in under an hour. That's something we haven't considered. Would there be... There'd probably be some medicine in the booth.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd hate to be the one that has to empty the porta potty after using them. No, not far enough, Hour a Day Gamer. But you can head on over to the porta potty and take a look at what's inside. Oop. I rotated the door the wrong way. There we go. There we go. And now the door's open. Kind of hard to see. Browse. I'm gonna revert that back. Yes, my dog, she is a Husky Australian Shepherd mix. Her name is Isla. The toy she's working on right now, I just got her a couple days ago, replacing another toy that she chewed through. And the most important thing, or important thing to have for game dev is a dog. Alright, what was I working on? Oh yeah. I cannot stay focused. Let's see. Switch that. Make it kind of this. I feel like coffee filters are boring. We should maybe use not super exciting colors. I'm thinking brown.
Yeah, brown. It evokes coffee. So I think it makes logical sense.
Oh yeah. A dog and 3 cats. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of a lot of toys. So my entire floor is just like there's 5 toys laying around the ground and the one that she's working on. That's not what I want. Let's see. Oops. Just select that one. There we go. I know there's a way to expand out both handles here. Let's go up here. Like I said, Illustrator is not my strongest program. Or maybe it should be not round, and it's not exactly like the reference. There we go. Alright, let's throw a green in there. You know, people are gonna come tuning into this stream, and it's gonna say the Unreal Engine 4, and then we're not actually
Photoshop and Illustrator. Wow.
I mean, we could change what we're. Well, I could change it, right?
Oh, I think so.
I don't want to mislead people. Thanks for stopping by, Hour a Day. Yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah.
Zebro says, but it's fine to leave. I think to leave it as Unreal.
Yeah.
Because the engine you work in is Unreal Engine 4. You know, not wrong. Rather than me trying to figure out how to do that right now, I'm going to continue working on my box of coffee filters. You can add stream tags, though. Okay. Update stream info. There we go. Okay. Photoshop. That's not actually a category. Illustration? Graphic design? Yeah, graphic design.
Yeah, graphic design.
There, I added some graphic design to the stream tag. I kind of liked the roundness of the reference image, though. I'm going to continue to... Oh, okay. There we go. That's what I needed to do. This stream is just me learning programs in real time. Some game dev stream in science and technology. I was debating whether or not that was the one I wanted to pick, and then I found game dev. I want this curve to be all the way down. There we go. The layer should be locked. Oof. Not the shape I wanted to make. Brad, how do you do this so easily?
Oh, yeah, Illustrator. Honestly, Illustrator's not my favorite to work with. I am a Photoshop person. Obviously, I do use it occasionally, but yeah, what's weird is that you would think the pen tool and Photoshop and Illustrator would like work exactly the same, but they don't for whatever reason. There's little subtle differences that drive me crazy whenever I switch between them. So. Yeah, it's one of those things where I generally just give up on trying to be too extremely precise.
Yeah, it's more that I don't know what it is that I want to do or where any of the tools are.
Those are two things that are mildly important.
It's hard.
So yeah, anyone who's watching my stream, as you can see, I've made a little progress here. Cut out our titular character, Max Danger. Pasted him in this jungle environment. Used some explosion texturing. And you may have seen earlier, I'm kind of using First Blood Part 2 as my spiritual reference right now. Interesting that this is... well, anyway. But of course, there's the original too. Yeah, you got your gun, you got your hero, you got your explosion, you got your exotic setting. I think we've got the...
What more
yeah,
could you
got
want?
the key components in place. And yeah, it's just going to be a matter of getting some of the... doing some photo effects to kind of simulate this old school printing style. We did something very similar with the buns and biceps for anyone who who was kind of curious about how we got that look. There's a few things you can see. I've already kind of bumped the saturation. It's a big thing. But one of the cool, I'm just gonna make sure I remember how to do this, and then I'll explain what I just did. Whenever you experiment in Photoshop, always duplicate the layer you're working on, just in case.
Well, what the heck? There we go. That's what I wanted.
Cool. So yeah, over on my screen, you can see I just used the color halftone Photoshop filter to kind of create this faux print effect. Kind of gives it the look of an old school comic book when you view it from far away. I'm going to blend this though into the original photo because it's a little extreme.
Yeah, I prefer Photoshop too.
Yeah.
Actually, I prefer After Effects. that's the program I know. That's what I like exceed in. But
yeah.
oh, this is the first I'm seeing the cover, Brad.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So yeah, you just I was just talking about the color halftone. I blend that into the photo a little bit. Creates a really cool effect where it almost looks like it's like it's obviously it's a photo, but it almost looks drawn, kind of in that style that was very popular in the 80s, where these almost like this is Sylvester Stallone, but it's not. It doesn't really look like a real photograph of him. It looks like someone painted him.
Are you using the sleeve meshes that we have?
Yeah. So I'm going. I haven't really looked into that yet. I was actually just before starting. I didn't want to delay us too much. I was trying to find it. Do you know what those sleeve meshes are called?
I do not.
All right. Well, we'll have to find that. I did get the dimensions of VHS tapes, so we'll make sure that we can, fit this design onto the actual
tape.
Yeah, onto the actual tape UVs.
They are the SM_tape_02.
Ah, here we go.
There's a couple of them, so it's the tapes inside the meshes.
Cool. Yeah. So. Awesome. So these ones all have. So this is one thing to be aware of. The sleeves have a little divot here, which should be okay. We'll just have to make sure we kind of factor that in. But yeah, like I said, before I started, I did get the actual dimensions of a VHS tape, and I used that to create my ratio here. It looks a little bit narrow compared to what you might be used to, but I think that's just the way the tapes look. So again, this isn't meant to be entirely precise. I'm mostly just getting the design in place, and the next step is going to be kind of pulling out the texture maps of these assets And hopefully it'll be a matter of just swapping the art. Because, yeah, we have this asset here that actually looks pretty good in terms of, like the roughness and, all the normals and everything. So hopefully we can just swap in the diffuse. But we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. I wanted to make sure we made some good progress on the actual design work, because I think that's the most fun part. But yeah, once that Jared does make a good point about kind of bearing in mind as we start to make some progress on the design, it's good to start thinking about how the actual mesh we're going to ultimately be using is going to, affect that, and how we're going to fit this design onto this mesh. So.
Oh yeah. I'm on DaFont trying to find a font for the coffee filters. We use DaFont liberally. It's got to make sure when you search, you only search for public domain and 100% free ones.
Oh yeah.
Which I hope they actually is actually right, because I don't know who uploads these. I think anyone can. What do you think of this one, Brad? Abugit?
Yeah, sorry, there's a delay on the stream. Could you actually just send me a screenshot over Slack?
Fine. Send you the link. There you go.
Cool. Ooh, I like that.
I was gonna use that for no filter, and then it would be just in very boring, probably sans serif text, say coffee filters.
Yeah, I like that idea. Has a good feel to it. I think it feels very homey and no frills. It's not super corporate looking. It fits the branding for a humble coffee filter brand.
For a mom and pop coffee filter brand. I like on the Melito ones, it's super premium coffee filters.
Yeah, you gotta distinguish between the.
Yeah, these aren't just your average coffee filters. These super premium. Why is it not snapping? Just let me
also
make you bold.
We are so in sync right now. I am also in the market for a good font.
As bold and just unsubtle as possible.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna...
You know what I like.
Yeah, this super masculine, almost metallic looking. Just yeah. Let's see. What is that like?
Yeah. That's unreadable. There you go. Also kind of hard to read. Alright, you know what? No stroke. No filter. Premium coffee filters. I gotta change that font. I feel like I used Myriad on cigarette box. Who's to say? So we've been streaming Brad for about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, time just flies.
I figure maybe we go until maybe like 5 o'clock your time, so you can get on with your weekend.
Sure, yeah, that sounds good.
Gives us another 50 minutes or so. Anyone who's here, first of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, I'm less scared than I was when I first started, so thanks for not being judgmental in any way. I appreciate the support and whatnot of the indie dev community. It's always it's very nice. I appreciate it. But if you have any questions or comments or anything you wanna throw out there before we wrap up in 45 minutes, we've still got plenty of time. Don't feel pressured to right now. I know y'all are working on your own stuff, but we'll just be here making stuff until then. So if you have anything you want to ask us, don't be shy. Aw, thank you, Nacho. I appreciate it. I think choosing a font is the hardest part.
Yeah. It is a...
Ooh. How about this? Niagara Solid. Nacho asks, shouldn't the movie number be in Roman numerals?
I think that's definitely a good call, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I like the...
Can the tagline be something like, this time, it's even more dangerous? Oh yeah, that's a good call. You could even put the Roman numeral 2 as the background element behind.
Yeah, I was gonna
danger.
do. I think this definitely needs a little trying to. I do want to kind of emulate some of that, almost like. Yeah, it's almost like a logo design of the two. I kind of want a more interesting looking Roman numeral also, because that just two rectangles is kind of dull. I want to find a font with a better looking one. I might look for a better font altogether. Just trying to.
Yeah, I hate rectangles.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
I hate this rectangle I'm currently working on.
How dare you make your one just a plain rectangle for this free font that you're designing and giving away for absolutely nothing?
Yeah. Why can't you make something I like? I don't know what font to use. There we go. I like that one. Premium coffee filters, superb coffee filters, genuine genuine coffee filters. This isn't any of that bootleg knockoff coffee filters. This is genuine leather coffee filters. Yeah, Zebro. Yeah, you're very right. We try to make sure the fonts we use are actually free when we do the search. But when it comes to defont, who knows who's uploading stuff? Like, if I wanted to, could I upload whatever font?
Yeah.
It's hard to know. We do what we can.
There are some that are like technically royalty-free fonts, but they're clearly using like logos and, or just like totally riffing on a font that logo that's clearly copyrighted. Like you found like Star Wars fonts and stuff that clearly you couldn't get away with using in your game. But yeah, you gotta, I think, just use a little common sense and trace the route back when you're able to, and hopefully you'll be okay.
Yeah. Common sense isn't something we have a lot of here. Looks pretty good. Distribute that. I always click the wrong one. Wrong one. Align to selection. There we go. Probably save this. Yeah, a lot of people upload onto DaFont and don't list their license. They usually just Google the font name and check the creator's website if they have one. Not a bad idea. I should check. Yeah, I think the one I'm using, yeah, it has a note from the author on it. It says, this font is free 100% for personal use and commercial use. So I think we're in the clear there. I never know about like system default fonts. Like, could I use Times New Roman like technically legally? I don't think anyone would care.
Yeah, that's one I've never really fully understand the official rules around. Like impact, like it's like one of the most like ubiquitous, like, you know. But I don't know.
Zebro says he once posted a guy's text formatted under his original post in a forum and he wanted to sue him for copyright. That's not great. I feel like that's probably an overreaction on the other person's side of things. But,
yeah.
What do I know? As the stream has made abundantly clear, nothing. I'm not getting very far on my copy filters. I feel like this is like a drop shadow.
Yeah, drop shadows are usually, I think, make it feel a little more.
Or is that too is that too fun for for coffee filters?
I don't know. These aren't NutraFun bars. I think no filter could have a little bit of fun with things.
You're right. There's probably a drop shadow thing directly in Illustrator, but I'm too lazy to find it. But not lazy enough to duplicate the layer. Ooh, what if the drop shadow is the yellow color I'm using? Now that's just crazy enough for just my work. I don't know why it also adopted the stroke size, but you know what? Sometimes things be crazy. Yeah, I like that. What do you think? A little more subtle, maybe make this the gold color as well. He was mad because Zebro made the spaghetti text readable and people liked it. so he was jealous. He was jealous of or maybe the green color. Brad, this is where your artistic ability is necessitated.
Oh, let's see that a little.
I don't know if I should be yellow or green. Or neither.
I think I feel like between the two I like the yellow more. The green hurts my eyes a little bit. But also maybe just like a.
Okay, you're saying that my thing is so my design is so ugly that your eyes physically hurt. That's incredibly rude.
Well, you know, I could be nice, and I can actually help make this game not look like shit. So it's up to you.
You are more of the artistic.
Yeah, and I think I would either. The gold didn't look bad. That's kind of nice. It's a little more subtle, or just doing like a black with the opacity down. That would be my. I kind of like the gold though. I like that. That looks nice.
I just felt like it was a little less traditional. Yeah. Pops. It's got some pop to it. Exactly. There you go. Well, I've designed about one like 32nd of it. I better save this. No fill. Oops. We just have a folder full of these things. Trying to think. Is there anything I can work on in Engine that would be of interest for the last 40 minutes or so? Looking at our list of our Trello list. Should I show our Trello list?
Yeah, I might as well.
Here's our Trello list. We use Trello to keep track of everything. Brad, I'll update the generic action movie to in progress.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So we got all sorts of stuff in here. I'm gonna have to go through it quickly because I don't want to necessarily spoil anything. But yep. I'm gonna step away for a second again. I'll be right back. I'm gonna switch to your screen, Brad.
Cool. Trying to do a little bit of work here with the text design. Roman numerals in the background were a little hard to make out, so I'm gonna just experiment with some other stuff here.
Guess who's back?
Who?
It's me.
Oh.
Me. I need to find a royalty-free image of a coffee filter. What are the what are the odds? Okay. Cool. I found a public domain coffee filter on Wikipedia.
Nice.
Alright, Nacho, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm hoping we do more of these streams. We'll obviously be tweeting about it or talking in the Discord channel about our next one whenever we decide it. Probably won't be super often, maybe like once a month if we decide to keep going with them. But yeah, we'll see. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
You might need to add more shading to it. Select the brown part, take a light brown. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of what you're saying there, Zebro. I'm not able to... I don't quite understand Illustrator super well. Oh, so kind of had like sort of a gradient type thing behind it. Yeah, it is kind of a little flat. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Well, that's not what I want. Oops. Okay. Just need to adjust the colors and then we'll be good. Okay, let me change the color. Oh man, I am not used to working with gradients in Illustrator. Next stream we do, Brad, we're not making me do Illustrator. I quit. Dang it. I don't know why it's not letting me select a color. Oh, there we go. It's making me choose colors from the swatch that I'm using. There we go. Okay. Well, not sure why it's gray at the moment, but just let me change. I just want to change colors, dang it. This should not be this hard. Or unintuitive. Yeah, I should just use Photoshop. I know how to use Photoshop. I swear. Like, just let me adjust this brown color. Like, what's going on? Okay. kind of like that, actually. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gas. How did I get into the gradient tool? Oops. Yeah. I just want like a lighter color. A lighter shade of this brown color. Or like maybe a darker shade of the yellow color. Or not. There we go. That's looking a little better, I think. I'll probably go ahead and tweak all these colors later when I actually finalizing things, but I think that's definitely looking a lot better. Good suggestion. Let's add this bad boy in here. Oops. It's too big. I might have to go in Photoshop for this to take the background out. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean there. I feel like I can go more subtle with the gradient. I'm gonna save those tweaking for before we render it out to throw into Substance, but I just want to kind of get some more of the pieces in place at this point, and probably let Brad do the coloring since I just physically can't wrap my head around it. I feel like this coffee filter image is just boring enough. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Photoshop. Now I know what I'm doing. Kind of. The shadow at the bottom, that's going to be kind of obnoxious. Oops. How's the cover coming along, Brad?
It is good, yeah. Still kind of having a little bit of trouble with the title design. I tried putting the Roman numerals in the background, and it did not quite look good. You couldn't see. It just basically created these two rectangles on the top and bottom. So yeah, I'm just doing some random experimentation at this point, just kind of seeing things that stick and maybe inspire an idea. Also doing a little Google searching for potentially another title design that does something kind of like what I have in mind. But I do think that the background art is looking good, which is the most important thing I wanted to test. Just get some placeholder text in there, kind of see where things might be arranged, and yeah, I think I'm liking it.
Nice.
So.
Place. I thought you could pull PSDs into Illustrator. Oh, you can. I just saved it in the wrong spot. That'll do it. Do you think we should see the whole coffee filter on the thing, or should it be like sneaking in on the edge here?
Ooh,
I can create a clipping mask.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I can. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, clipping masks in Illustrator are always tricky. But I kind of like a little bit of it. I don't know if we want it completely. Yeah, I think a little off center, but not totally cut off halfway. Yeah, unless we want to incorporate some other element into the design.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, Illustrator locked up for a moment. Uh-oh. My Illustrator's unhappy. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. At this point, I'm just randomly clicking. Oh, I thought it was supposed to keep... lock the mask. There we go. Maybe 5-degree rotation. Okay. I don't know, maybe is that too fun for this copy filter?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't want the edges clipped. Maybe it is. I don't know. Now that I'm seeing it. Maybe just, yeah, straight on with a little...
I know, I do kind of like it clipped. I like it clipped like halfway like this.
Yeah.
And then then I could maybe wrap around towards the back, which just sounds like a lot more work that's hard to do. I better put the guides in their spots here so I can do that more effectively. Thank you, Zebro. I'm doing my best. Graphic design is my passion. It's not. I'm really bad at it. I gotta start thinking about what I want to have for dinner tonight. Exactly. How many filters should be in here? 6.
They're that high quality. Any more than 6 and you couldn't afford to buy them.
That's so absurd. Is it all gonna fit? No. I gotta change my artboard size, I think. Hey, I figured out how to do something first try. There we go. My clipping mask. Well, I guess I don't really need clipping mask anymore if it's just gonna kind of go over on the back. So if I can get it centered on the actual spine of the thing, then I can adjust the overall sizing. There we go. Cool. We've got about 20 minutes left of our stream here, and we'll call it a day. Thank you for those still with us, and for those who were with us, and everyone who stopped in today. My brain is absolute mush and garbage at this point in the day, as it usually is in late afternoon. But we're glad you're here. I need to smooth out this edge. Like I liked the sizing better when it was like this. What do you think, Brad? Should it wrap around evenly? Because I like how much real estate it's taking up.
So wait, when you say wrap around, you mean like onto the side and back of the box?
Yeah, so this is the side.
Yeah, okay, I see, yeah. Yeah. It's hard to visualize how it would look in 3 dimensions, but depending on what we do with that side panel, I think that could be good. And we also on how we incorporate this corner of it on the back part too.
Yeah, I was thinking there'd probably be text here if we wanted to kind of make our own like backstory about these filters, like the reference photo. Yeah. We spend a lot of time making our assets, our joke assets. This is like not critical to the game in any way, shape, or form. But it sure is fun.
Yeah, I think I like it wrapped around like that evenly, so that, and then having the text kind of on the left side of the back there. Maybe not perfectly wrapping around it, but kind of warping a little bit around it. And in terms of what we do with the side panel, typically when we do a lot of times when we do boxes of like food or something, we have nutrition facts on one side. But I'm thinking if there's something we could put like in another box around it or on top of it.
I mean, it's on the real one. It's just the label over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I would probably just use that.
Yeah.
There's not going to be nutrition facts.
Yeah, there's really nothing else we need to incorporate. So I think I like that. I like the way it wraps around.
Good. Because it's not changing.
All right. Well, while we have a few more minutes, do we have any suggestions for the name of the actor portraying our hero, Maximilian Danger?
Oh, I hope so. I'm putting 6 filters in here. No one said anything.
Yeah, that's good. It's like, is that a joke, or do we just not know how coffee filters work?
6. 6 real filters. Six whole filters. I feel like that should be in the box with the 6, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any name suggestions for our talent.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other. I think I might. A lot of these VHS covers have all this like information on the front. I think I might cheat that onto the back though, because that's something else we'll have a back cover too. Just to use as much real estate as possible for the actual art.
I'm switching it to 100 filters. It just felt wrong.
Okay.
I don't like the distance between the 1 and the 0 though, so I'm gonna have to adjust the kerning or leading or whatever it is. That looks about right. There we go. 100 filters. Let's see what else is on the front of this box. They advertise their flavor enhancing micro perforations.
I don't even know what that means.
No. They have a little thing that says fits all 8 to 12 cup cone coffee makers. I honestly don't know how much more I want to put on this label though. At least the front of it. I feel like I need to have some more like interesting graphical element behind on the green portion, but I don't really know how much more text I feel is necessary.
I agree. Yeah, I wonder, like, trying to think, like, if you found like a coffee grounds texture, royalty free. And then you obviously blended it and lowered the opacity pretty low.
Well, that's some advanced level stuff in Illustrator, man. You're talking about blending modes. I don't even know how to use the program. Coffee grounds texture. Okay. Good old Shutterstock. I don't need. You mean like coffee beans? Because the grounds
beans,
just
yeah,
looks
that's
like
what I was
Yeah.
thinking in my head. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, that's one. Maybe if it's like kind of there's like a swoop through it, and like we mask the texture a bit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Free photo on Pixabay. Let's see. Free for commercial use, no attributions required. Love it. Oops. We got beans here. So that kind of does a lot of the heavy lifting. There's no green, but I haven't blended it yet. But I like the texture now.
Yeah.
Oh god, where are my blending modes? They do have blending modes in Illustrator, right?
They do, but again, I don't think they work exactly the same way.
Transparency, there we go. Let's multiply. That's not bad. Color burn. Yeah, we're gonna want one of the multiplies. There's overlay. Thoughts on overlay?
Gotta catch up with the delay, but.
There's color burn.
Oh yeah, I do like overlay.
Overlay's a lot subtler.
Yeah.
On the whole thing, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Having it all the way, and then we would probably put, like when there's text or whatever for like the story on the back, we can put a little rectangle.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't distract from it.
Sounds good.
Cool. I think I like it.
Maybe some shadowing on the filter itself.
Possibly, yeah.
It's coming along. Man, this stream has flown by. We've got only like probably 5 to 7 minutes or so left.
Yeah.
My brain is mush.
Gotta say, yeah, I
just...
think we made some really good progress. I'm very happy with Maximum Danger, how that's coming along. I think coffee grounds look great, or the filters look great, so.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who stopped by. We'll just kind of say some of our closing things here for now, and then work for a couple more minutes before we end the stream. This is the first stream we've done for game dev. I'm hoping we do some more. Probably not super often, just because it's difficult to find time that Brad and I are both able to work at the same time. But this seems to have worked out, and people are here, and that's great. I'm glad everyone's here. if you don't already, please follow us on Twitter. We also have a Patreon and website, and as much as I hate plugging ourselves, I'm going to do it anyway because I don't know if people are watching this later or whatever, but feel free to become a patron, visit our website, read through our devlogs. There's some stuff on there, more information about the game, all sorts of stuff. And also, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll be the first to know when we are next live on Twitch, what we're working on. We'll post things throughout the week. We're pretty active on there. I don't really have anything else to add. This was fun. I mean, I was super nervous when we started this earlier today, and things seem to have worked out technically, and also I didn't completely shut down. I wasn't racked with nerves. I didn't have stage fright. And you all got to see me struggle using Illustrator, which was I'm sure it was a treat. But yeah, I guess we can call it there, Brad. What do you think?
I think we're in a good spot. I just want to kind of say the same general idea. This was fun for me. I'm glad everyone had a good time, and hopefully, whether you're live with us right now or watching it later, it got you a little excited and kind of give you some insight into how we work and how we've been doing things for the last few months. So, hopefully we can do this again.
Yep. I guess that's it. We'll wrap it up. We'll see you next time, I guess. How do you end these things? I don't know. Smash to black. We'll just go to the stream ending page. We'll talk to you all later. Or is that something people say? I don't know. I should just quit while I'm ahead. Bye.
Bye.